Welcome to the Center of Light Radio with spiritual teacher, intuitive, musician, composer, and best-selling author of The Divine Principle, Anchoring Heaven on Earth, your host, Keith Anthony Blanchard.
Oh yeah, coast to coast, pole to pole, all around the world on the internet, thanks to the marvel of technology. I am coming at you live from my little bitty old guest house in Memphis, Tennessee. This is Keith Anthony Blanchard, and you are listening to Center of Light Radio, Center of Divine Unfoldment and Reinforcement, the superhighway to knowledge for that which matters most important, and that would be you. Power up and spread the light, y'all. It's Monday night. I'm asking again all my brother and sister astronauts as we launch for inner space. Welcome to the show. The chat room has got lots of people in there. It's filling up nicely. Hello, Bro Pro, and all you wonderful people that support me weekly. I appreciate you being here again. I have a fantastic show for you tonight. I'm going to get to my guest here shortly. A couple of adverts. For those who have been asking about my lifelong work, it is now ready. It is now public. It is online, so to speak. It's called R.P.M. Recognize, Plug in, and Manifest Your Life. You can find that fantastic program. Trust me, if you purchase this program and it does not do something magical for you, contact me and I will fix it however you choose. Go to www.counciloflight.co. That's www.counciloflight.co and look up Keith Anthony Blanchard for my Recognize, Plug in, and Manifest life-changing program. You have my promise. Center of Light Radio is expanding. Go to the centeroflightradio.com. Look at the bottom right-hand corner of the opening page. You will see a subscription form. I did send out newsletters yesterday. Powerful, powerful, powerful. This newsletter was called Cosmic Disclosure. And I've always said the end/beginning is going to unfold in ways no one could have ever imagined. And, you know, me, Mr. Spiritual, I thought I had a pretty good handle on things until I started watching this program on Gaia TV. It wowed me by this whistleblower by the name of Corey Good telling of his 20-year service in the secret space program, basically living on the dark side of the moon where 22 alien races have colonized along with humans throughout the solar system. And they have all these alliances and these agreements, and they're about to reveal and this and that. Pretty interesting stuff. My point is, go to Center of Light Radio page, bottom right-hand corner. You will see a subscription form. Fill it out. I do my research thoroughly. I will not send you junk. I will send you what empowers me and what expands my heart. Fill it out. I'd love to send you more aspects of what I'm into. And I think you understand, and I think we understand each other as to why you are returning here repeatedly. And my love and my hat off to you for that. While you're at Center of Light Radio, check out the Do What You Love Forever course. You get everything, all of my creations up to this point, for $5. Wow. Why? Because I can and because I love you and I love seeing you blissful. You get everything immediately. It's all digital download. To call into the show today, dial 888-919-2355. 888-919-2355. Remember, if you're not at home or by your computer or by a computer and you want to hear your favorite show, hopefully that's Center of Light Radio, you can go to the App Store on your phone and download the Inception Radio Network app for free. Everything is right there in the palm of your hand. Chat room, listen, live link, news, archives, podcasts. Who knows? You can probably even order a pizza from I'm just having a fantastic week. Lots of music was had last week by me, doing what I love for a living, my path. And also, if you want to find out more about how you can get on your path, go to www.dowhatyoulovethemovie.com. It's the movie made by Blue Cast Productions out of New York about my life as a spiritualist and a full-time musician, empowering you with whatever it is that you need so you can beat your feet towards your bliss. And now it's time to get down to Center of Light Radio business. Today on the Center of Light Radio, my guest is Alexis Petrin, and we will be discussing ascending through beyond the self. She asked, what's going on? Awakening? Ascension? The human experience? Navigating the new earth and living as a multidimensional being can be confusing, liberating, and exhilarating. Join us as we dive into how to remain grounded, present, and rooted in service as humanity continues to accelerate and shift into the next stage of us. Alexis Petrin is the embodiment. I love this. Alexis Petrin is an embodied supernova. Wow. I would say that's a good description. She is an embodied supernova playing in a human suit as a former raging self-defeatist turned fearless liberator. She serves as a portal of ascension through and beyond the human experience. Meet the illuminated version of you and access Alexis's galaxy by searching in, and that's where my notes stop, and it seems like there should be more. Either way, Powerhouse Alexis Petrin, welcome to Center of Light Radio, dear.
Hi. I have the cheesiest smile going on right now.
Hey, I like cheese. I got crackers sitting right next to me. We're good to go. I love that you called yourself a supernova in a human suit. That's pretty cool, man. And it does describe the energy that I know as you. So I think you pegged it quite well.
Yay! Yes. Well, it became difficult to explain my personal experience in words, and I heard that my energy was quite dynamic. So supernova came one day.
Wonderful. So how did you find your way to you? How did Alexis Petrin find the path that inevitably leads to your best self? What happened in your life?
Oh, truth. Okay, truth, I don't really know. But
for many people, we get here, in quotes, because of life's just, it's gone awry. Something really bad has happened. And so that wasn't your gig? Did you just lean into spirituality just out of passion?
No. No. For me, what happened was I spent about the first 20 years of my experience here in alcohol and drug addiction and anything else that would really alleviate what I'm seeing now as the pain of being here, being in a body, feeling so limited, alone, separate, all these self-imposed crises. And I found my way somehow, miraculously, however we want to say that, into a 12-step program, which really laid and opened the door for me to spiritual principles and found a foundation, really, that allowed me to meet myself, meet my pain for the first time in my life. And that really blew the doors open off of anything and everything I had previously known life to be.
How was it for you to meet yourself? Was it truly a reflection? Were you absolutely able to see the opposite or the real you in that mirroring?
In the beginning, it was excruciating because I could only see the surface layers.
Yeah.
The surface pain. And as we went further and further in, it appears as though it gets darker and darker and darker. I know we all say that, the light at the end of the tunnel. You begin to eventually see the light, and then you are in front of the light, and then you once again return and become the light. So that's been my path thus far.
So the show is titled Ascension, Beyond You or Beyond the Self. Is Ascension sort of your field of expertise? Is it something that you like, that particular spiritual arena, the whole idea of ascension and the process of it?
Yes. And I use the word ascension. I like to make this clear. I use the word ascension because I'm not really sure what else to use right now. what other word to use? And it's like spirituality, that has so many meanings for everyone. So ascension is kind of the same thing I'm coming to find. But really it's for me, ascension, it's very simple. You're simply returning to yourself, and you're once again fully participating in your life, in this cosmic play we have going on here. You've committed to expanding your awareness, and really you've gotten on board with aligning with your highest desires, your dreams, your visions, what it is that you are really wanting to experience and to create and to share here.
In your bio, there are 3 questions. The first one is, what's going on? So how is it that you're asking the question? And if we would, answer the question, what is going on?
That's a question I'm always asking. What's really going on here?
Right.
And often I'm looking at my hand when I'm doing that. Like, we don't really even know how our hand moves or how our fingers are moving, So what's really going on here? And I just find that question to be a portal to curiosity, and to really open up and to expand and to plug into that innate creative nature that we are.
I loved it. I loved the way you answered that. It was actually poetic. You could have just answered the question, but you didn't. You set it to poetry, and that was really, really cool, because looking at your hand, I don't know how it moves, but yet just by using the simple will, without all the effort of trying to force it to happen, just the simple will of moving your fingers, that's pretty profound and pretty complex and pretty perplexing. Awakening. What is awakening to you?
Awakening to me is when we start to become aware that there is more. That's it.
A friend of mine says, is if you think there's more, then there probably is more.
Yeah.
And so we talked about Ascension, and I think since that was the third question of the 4, that's pretty much all we can call it, for lack of a better term, because it's not necessarily that we go up. It's just that the idea of the energy is probably, quote, higher. And so we use the term ascension as if we're, moving in an upwardly way. But what about the human experience? You asked the question, the human experience. So what do you think is happening in present time with the human experience?
Ooh. It's funny, because when I wrote this, I said, what is going on here with what I'm writing? What are we going to talk about? And now it all just clicked while you were saying that. So it always happens like that. So we start awakening, or at least this has been my journey, and I found it to be true for many others. So we go through what we've termed the spiritual awakening. So awakening to spirit, or awakening to the fact that there is more beyond the 5 senses. And for me, when that happened, I thought, oh, that's it. I've made it. It's the be all end all. And then a few years later, it became clear, oh, wow. So it's not really the spiritual awakening. Now we're moving into the human awakening. So we went out of the body, right, beyond the senses. So then my experience turned back into the fact that I'm here, I'm in a human body, I am a spirit, there is more, I'm a multi-sensory, multi-dimensional being, and we are returning now to the human experience, walking here on Earth as a being with that expanded awareness. I believe that's
love it. I love the full circleness of it all. But I like that you mentioned that we went out of the body, we're going into the cosmos, and now what Ascension really, really means, because we're starting to experience it, that we found a better way to describe the dynamic of it, and that's actually to become fully human. And not many people know that the word hue of human is the Ekankar word for God, and man is of the earth. And so the truth of it all, in our ascension process, we are becoming divinity walking upon the earth. Hence the coined term human.
Yes.
Yay.
Exactly. Yay.
Yeah. And I love watching your videos on social media. So this is where we're going to actually put on our seatbelt and get right into the meat and potatoes, because I saw your live feed or whatever it was, and you were talking about multidimensional awareness. Now, if anyone knows Keith, I'm all into that kind of stuff. Tell me what it's like for you when you are in multidimensional awareness mode.
Well, that is now my waking state. Always. So it's very interesting. It's fun and it can be confusing sometimes. Like I said, liberating, exhilarating, on and on and on. So no longer am I seeing, are we really seeing one perspective? Simply like what is happening and what's going on. We are now in real time in our waking life able to see an array of perspectives simultaneously all at once.
I've always said that awareness is everything. It could save your life. It could save your soul. Awareness, here's a phenomenal awareness exercise. If you can turn away from, just imagine you're listening to my voice. And as you're listening to my voice, that is awareness. That is the constant presence that has always existed, exists now, and will forever exist. And so when we shut down our eyes, the hearing becomes a little more heightened. So when you can practice awareness expansion, I'll call it awareness expansion practice. It's like, working a muscle out of the gym, and eventually the muscle it grows and it expands and becomes muscle mass. So the question becomes, as a spiritualist, can you learn to expand your awareness mass? And even though I'm looking at my computer screen now, I hear my air conditioner in the back, I see the picture of my son with my peripheral awareness without even directly looking at it. These are ways that you can begin to shift yourself in such a way you can become truly, truly open.
Yes.
Are there certain exercises that you use?
I don't intentionally set out really today to exercise or to practice anything in particular. The main thing is exactly what you stated, to remain fully present. So to really show up in each and every moment with as much of myself that I can access in any given moment.
How do you suggest one becomes more present in the moment? What is a method, a practice, a technique that helps one become present?
I have to share this. This just flew by. So years ago, I was introduced somehow to the Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, which I think many of us have stumbled upon. And so I was reading his book, and this was in the very beginning for me. My awareness was starting to expand. I was getting into meditation, not really because I was desiring it, but because I was in so much pain. And I got to the part where he was talking about focusing with as much presence as you can muster on one specific thing. So what I would do is, in each and every moment, whatever I was doing, I would actually narrate it and be immersed and switch between senses. So this visual, it was an epiphany, like, aha, I don't know what happened. I completely changed. So simple. But I was doing laundry the one day, and I pushed the little button and the detergent was pouring out into the cup. And I was practicing and fully immersed in being present. And it's like I had this multi-sensory next level experience of the detergent coming out and going into the cup and seeing the beauty in it and the more of what was actually happening. So I carried myself like that for days, which was exhausting because it was not my normal operating state until it became the normal state.
So again, I want to ask the question. You did answer it wonderfully before, but I really didn't get from you what I was hoping. Let me ask it this way. Yeah. What does it feel like to be you when you are operating in multidimensional awareness mode?
Oh, okay. It feels very peaceful. I can feel these very subtle vibrations moving in, through, and around my body, which is very comforting. It feels completely safe and secure, regardless of external circumstances or conditions.
Agreed.
Are we getting closer?
Absolutely agreed. You feel your connection to everything. There's when you're there, you don't have a desire to clamp down on anything. You're in complete acceptance of everything being as it is. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Love it. How did you glean all this knowledge, this wisdom, these truths? Did you read a lot of books, watch a lot of videos, or did this begin to happen naturally for you from just the desire of waking up, which punches that door open, which allows that such wisdom to come in? How did this happen for you?
Well, as the pain that I was experiencing mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, drug my booty into a meditation chair. uh, Most of my experience really was through meditation. So it was through personal experience and connecting to something that appeared to be larger than me. And then information started coming, wisdom started to be born out of understanding what I was personally experiencing. And I did read quite a few books in the beginning, watched quite a few YouTube videos, not so much anymore. So I was very immersed in all of that, just attempting, just seeking. Like I was really, really seeking. I didn't know what I was looking for yet. So I digested anything that would come along my path. But
Well, let me know
meditation
if you
was it.
find out. Let me know if you find out what you're looking for.
I think we are looking for us. That's the only answer I have so far.
I love the way in your bio when I read that becoming illumined can be confusing, yet it's liberating and exhilarating. I think all of those three are facets of the truth about such a thing because, it's confusing. We have a logical mind that says, "Oh, this is awesome." And then as we expand and come into us, we realize that I've limited myself so much by decreeing and declaring that this is such an awesome idea. But I do understand that those are steps to higher and higher and higher and expanded levels. But I love the idea that it's confusing because the word confusing means two things are co-fusing. They're coming together to give birth to the third self, the phoenix or the Christ, that which is beyond the duality, the wanting to know and the dance of trying to get to the knowing. So it's a very, very beautiful process for sure.
Yes, yes. I'm reminded of this little excerpt that came through me. It was to return home before knowing and not. To return home as you were before knowing and not. And that's really what we start to enter into. We don't know what we're doing, where we're going, but that's what happens.
And that's kind of the fun of it is the not knowing because it's just a journey. And if we can take our hands off the wheel, Jesus take the wheel. If we can get Jesus to take the wheel, we can't really meditate or conceive of the idea of how grand things can really, really be when we let our expanded self into the driver's seat and we become, just a passenger. From the chat room, Alexis, Don Danny asked the question, does Alexis experience the same kind of vibratory effect that the Monroe Institute associates with out-of-body experiences?
Well, to answer that question, you will have to educate me on what the Monroe Institute is.
He was the public pioneer in the 50s that brought out-of-body experiences to the masses in a conscious way, and everybody else started plugging into his work, even though everybody, many people for eons of time have been having expanded experiences. But he was the first. So basically what he's asking is, do you experience the vibrations that happen when you become multidimensional, expanded, and so forth and so on? Do you feel that buzzing that happens?
Yes.
Tell me what that's like for you.
Okay, let's go on right now. I'm sitting here Indian style on a couch talking on the phone with you. And at the same time, so I'm in my body and seeing out that and exactly what's happening. At the same time, I'm standing next to myself and I'm seeing all this happen from the outside in. And then if we go another layer, I can see my body and feel my body and hear my body. Yet it feels as though my body or consciousness or whatever we want to call it is actually expanded out of the room, out of the house and farther. Does that answer the question?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Often I hear that not only do I hear the buzzing, I feel it. And people ask then why does that happen? Well, if you think about it, if you're losing body awareness, if that's falling away from you, then you're becoming aware of the spirit body, the light body, which is energy, which is light. So obviously there's an electrical side effect that happens, which is the buzzing, hearing the buzzing. So we're talking about multidimensional awareness. And since we're talking about that, do you have out-of-body experiences, and are you able to do them at will?
Both. Both. I feel, for me, my experience, I don't know how long it's been, but my experience as of now is it's not like an either or. Like it's all kind of that consciousness has merged. I don't know how to put this into words. That consciousness has merged for me. So it's like, it's simultaneous. It's not like I'm out of the body or in the body. It's like it's all happening at once.
Understood. Yeah. And that's a misnomer, a miscoined term, out of the body. I can understand for a man who was just your everyday. In fact, he was the president of NBC many years ago. And so he had no knowledge of any of this. And so I can understand why at our level of awareness back then, before this big spiritual movement, he would call it such a thing, out of body experience. But you described it perfectly. It's not an outer thing at all. It's more just becoming aware of who we are in an expanded level. And so when people say, during the out-of-body experience, we fly around. When you really don't fly around, you just shift into another level of the spirit. And in that shifting, it does feel like a flying. So let me ask you this. Do you work with other people to help them come into their own?
Yes.
Tell me about that, dear.
That's where all the work is right now. Well, everyone is different. Everyone's at different stages or different levels of awareness, and everyone is wanting to participate or desiring or wanting to create a different experience. So I don't have a cookie cutter process. There's no 1, 2, 3 step formula. There's no, this is how it works. It's okay. We're going to truly connect to what it is that you are desiring. We're going to connect you to your own guidance system, to your own higher self, to your own multidimensionality. And I will be here supporting you in that. And then eventually I'll step out of the way completely.
I'm going to take a guess. When a client, friend, family member, someone you're working with comes into your space for such a session, one of the first things that of course, you use all your faculties, but I'm sure your looking is very, very a key part of the assessment, because you're probably watching body posture, certain gestures as you speak, which is a tell. And you're using all these things to find the right sequence of how it is that you're going to work with this person. Yes?
Yes, the whole being.
Yeah, that's everyone that I've done interviews with. That is how they go about it. They make an assessment by using a radar. They send out a pulse, or they use their eyes, or they really hyper listen. Very, very important is hyper listening. Really, what is it they're really saying? Though they may have used these words, what are the arms doing as they're saying such things? Obviously you're a busy lady doing such work with other people.
Yes, and I could not be more honored to do this work, to be invited into someone else's journey, to another being's journey. I feel like is one of the, I'll simply say, one of the greatest honors that we have here, for someone to truly let you in and to walk this path with you.
We are at the bottom of the hour. 888-919-2355. 888-919-2355 is the number you dial if you want to get on the air to speak to me or my awesome guest today, Miss Alexis Petrin. If you would you give out your contact, how our listener audience can find more about you and your work, or advertise any books or any products that you may have? Here's your moment, dear.
Thank you. My name is Alexis Petrin. I'm an embodied supernova playing in a human suit for a moment. Plug that one more time. Let's invoke those smiles. You can find me at alexispetrin.com. And for all of the ladies out there, you can search hashtag the messy masterpiece on Facebook. I've created a group, a sacred container where you will most likely meet your next evolutionary bestie. And I actually do have a book coming out. It's my first one, July of 2016, titled The Messy Masterpiece.
I love it.
Yeah.
So please share with us. We understand the masterpiece, but we really want to know about the messy.
Well, I'll say messy is definitely sexy. You know, we try to deny these we call them darker aspects or thoughts or feelings or experiences, but this really is where the gold is. Like, this is where, when we start to mine for gold, this is where we really want to look. And the whole name Messy Masterpiece came through one day. So I had this, I guess, an epiphany where I was, I'm so excited, where I was thinking about how to relay this idea of empowerment, and how to not cut yourself off from half of your power by denying the aspects of yourself that you deem messy or ugly, or parts of your experience that you think are messy and not worthy and valid of your attention and love and care and support. And it came to me that, well, really embodying the paradox right here on Earth in your human vessel really is the ultimate empowerment. It's how we access 100% of our power.
I agree with that. I would think the messy is probably the good stuff and the most powerful stuff, because we put so much importance on all the good things, the right things, the conservative things, the wholesome things, the spiritual things. There's a whole trunk full of really cool stuff we just leave in the closet that I'm sure, if we use the master key, then we begin to play with our mastership.
Exactly. Well, the messy is something we perceive in our limited perspective as chaos. But when it comes to the universe or the cosmos or galaxies, when we want to think of it like that, chaos is actually natural order when we start to look closer. So it's like, that's what we're tapping into by no longer denying the things that we think are messy or unacceptable or unlovable or unworthy of our attention and our care.
Okay, I'm going to take a shot at it. Here we go. I've been known to be wrong before, but I was mistaken. I'm going to try this question on you. Tell me about your star existence, your celestial, your previous life, your family, your celestial family. Does that make sense to you?
What an awesome question.
Does that make sense to you? Yeah, I felt it intuitively to ask you to tell me about your other lifetime or your other existence now, which could be seen as another lifetime. Are you just experiencing your bigger self on some other cosmic locale? And if you want, but no pressure.
I was trying to download everyone with that information. Honestly, just being asked that, there's this overwhelming sense of just comfort and peace and understanding. For me here, I see the value in it and I see what's happening, and it's very natural and organic what's happening here on our planet. But it still hurts, and it just feels like something that I'm not really used to. It's kind of jolting. All of the suffering and the pain, and the loss and the amnesia, the forgetting of who we really are, how large we are, and what is available and accessible to us.
Yeah, and a lot of people, spiritualists, we talk about how our slates have been wiped clean by the others or they, and they are doing this to us. And damn it, just like everybody else, it aggravates the living crap out of me too. Okay. But now, if I want to change that, I have to be 100% responsible. In so doing, I now have full power under my control to bring forth the creation of my best self. And I don't think it would be as fun if we knew all of it, if they didn't wipe us clean. I mean, isn't that the point? If we wanted to be in eternity, for eternity, we never would have left.
Exactly. The more stories you hear and the more people that you connect with, right, it becomes kind of obvious that there's something going on here. Like, we forget and then we remember, and some people have always known and they're guiding us, and then we become guides. And so there's a thread that we can't really deny of what's happening here.
Let's get down into the nuts and bolts. Here in your bio, I'm reading, join us as we dive into how to remain grounded, present, and rooted in service as humanity continues to accelerate, shift, and on to the next stage of us. So how does one become grounded?
Oh, excellent question. And I have a very simple answer. Through the heart center. Through the heart. Viewing and perceiving and experiencing and choosing all as, I'm going to say love, but when I say love, it really is in an emotionally neutral space.
How does one begin to dwell and stay there in the heart? What is the process that grounds you and puts you in the heart so you are able to be grounded?
We have two things. I like to keep it simple and practical. One, your breath. Your breath alone is your life force. Your breath alone is the ultimate BS detector. Your breath alone will bring you into yourself and into your heart. Also, the mind, I'm not going to say, not the mind, the thinking mind, the conditioned mind, the trained mind, the limited mind, likes to play tricks on us when we fully engage in this path. So a very simple exercise or a practice, if you like, is to any thoughts that are going by, go ahead and call them into question by taking a deep breath and pulling the thought itself into your heart center and feeling it out through there.
I love it. I've done that practice many times, not necessarily for the intention of grounding, but for dissipating darker energies. If I'm in a situation that is just not fun to be in, I'll call it up. I'll dwell in it for a minute. I will literally invite it. I will feel the density of it, and I'll feel how thick and dirty and how heavy and gravity-like it is. And then I will start breathing like a madman. And I will breathe. And someone asked me recently, so what good is that? Well, if God is breath, God breathes life into man. As we breathe, we become imbued with light. So if you're in a situation, your dark stuff, you don't have to know how to get out of it. You don't have to logically work your way through the situation. Just breathe, and the light will dissipate the darkness. It'll unsuffocate your heart.
Exactly.
Is this something not many people know about the art of breathing their way through issues in their life? Is this something you do as well deliberately? Because I know that you breathe to become grounded, which puts you in the heart. But have you used this exercise for that particular purpose?
Yes. I use breathing. I use breath, which, like you're saying, is our life force, and so on for everything. Everything.
So let me ask you, Alexis, what is the illuminated version of us look like, not only as a singular, but as a collective? And is there a difference?
Oh, yes. I have a few simple words here. It looks like it is the evolution of contribution.
Ooh.
So the way that we are sharing and collaborating and really being with each other is changing.
I'm taking it in. I like the way you said that, because you emphasized on the syllable being with each other. So what is that being? What does that look like? Would that look like love, not an emotion, all the ooey gooey feelings you have for someone that makes you feel better about yourself when you're in each other's presence? But would you say it looks like letting people be as they are?
Yes, it is taking off the suit that we are wearing, the protective layer, what we think we need, how we feel others should perceive us. It is taking off the suit and consciously stepping into the knowing that we are all on an equal playing field. Very
nice. Yeah, we're definitely all on the equal playing field. And it's okay. Some people choose not to become awake to the opportunities, to the playing field that others are playing the game consciously. And if one chooses not to play it consciously, that's okay, because nothing is broken. Because my ascension, my expansion, my responsibility for my life, your life has no bearing whatsoever. Though people can come into your life and create an influence, but if you are present enough with yourself, you are the influencer and they are not.
Yes, others may invoke what you are ready to face and experience and become. Yes.
So, Alexis Petrin, what gets your juices flowing? What gets your heart pumping? What gets you going? What gets you jazzed up? Is there any particular field, though we did talk about the ascension process and the expansion of oneself or the collective? What really gets you going? Because you can.
Number one, yes, conversations like this, where we really are honestly sharing what it is, exactly what it is that excites us. Number one. And then number two, my whole thing, at least for right now, is expression, personal expression. I get really excited when you can feel that someone has dug into themselves and is bringing that unique expression that is them out into the world to contribute and to share with others. That is the number one and number two for me.
I love it. And I agree with that, because I've said many times in this radio program, because I play music so much in public, when I meet people for the first time, a friend of mine may say, Keith, here is my friend I've been telling about the band. So I say, hi, John Doe or Jill Doe. And what happens to me is I drop into my heart and I literally drop my consciousness there. And I start to admire the person that I'm meeting, be it a physical beauty, the dialect of their voice, if they're from another country, a piece of jewelry, what it is they're talking about. And I hyperfix myself on that. That is my passion, to do that. And as I'm doing that, something begins to transform right in front of my face. The person that was who they are before someone said, Keith, meet so-and-so, they morph, because I'm so massaging the beauty and the inner quality or the quality of this person. It begins to congeal and manifest itself in a God form right in front of my face. I see healing happen in a matter of a moment. And so can the other people around me. And people ask me, Keith, what is it you're doing when you do this? And I share it with them. And sometimes I have seen people join me as we're meeting someone, and it gets even more elevated. It's a very, very powerful, life-changing, beautiful process to see happen for the person and for all those who are witnessing the experience.
Yes, it is truly amazing what directing your attention can do.
Yeah, appreciating someone and having them feel appreciated. They don't have to know what they're being appreciated about, but they can feel it that someone is giving them an absolute unbroken attention. It's a pretty powerful thing when you can lay that kind of line down with someone.
Yes, I often tell people, hey, you want to try something to play around and really freak people out? Show up into a conversation, into an experience with someone else with no agenda other than to see what it is that you can experience beyond your current mental conception.
Do you travel around and do public talks, or do you do public talks locally?
I'm starting to.
Yay.
Yes. I felt the call to go online a couple years ago. So I've been online, expanding my reach, affecting people on a more global level. And then a couple of months ago, I heard the call, okay, now we're coming back into the physical. So that's where I've been now, creating local events for women. And now I'm working on bringing a variety of retreats, because I feel it's all about, or from what I'm hearing, it's all about the visceral, tangible, personal, real life experience now.
Yeah, it's definitely not about sharing what you read in Louise Hay's book or Wayne Dyer's book. And that's all really cool stuff. These are master teachers, that's for sure. But when it comes from a space of your own experience, not the grapevine effect of experience, that this is what Louise Hay or Wayne Dyer spoke about. When it comes from you, there is no more powerful teacher whatsoever, is not.
Exactly. Well, I think this is what you say on your show, but the time of belief, we're heading out of the time of belief. We really are headed we're already here into the age of knowing, and knowing occurs through personal experience and personal understanding of what it is that you have experienced. So we truly can enter into knowing now, but in order to do that, we're going to need to have a personal experience with that.
So how do we begin to expand ourselves? Is there a few ideas you can share with our listening audience about how to begin to move into the place? In other words, the door is open. I've opened the door. You've opened the door. Someone has opened the door. Now it's your job, whoever you are, to walk across the threshold. You see the door open. You have a curiosity and you want it. You desire it. You yearn for it. How does one begin to cross that threshold, Alexis, into their expanded self?
You actually just said it, the curiosity. So I could give you a list, a 1, 2, 3 checklist of what you could do right now, or you could really
actually. I don't mean to interrupt. And continue with your or, but if you would give us that 1 through 2, 3 checklist. Some people may need that, but please continue.
Okay. Number 1, the breath. To really start to pay attention, become aware, and spend time with your breath as if you were sitting with a friend, how you would turn your attention to them and to really listen to what they're saying, what it is that is behind the words, behind how they're sitting, and so on and so on. Start to really pay attention. Number 2, start to question. You can question everything you think you know. You can question everything you've been told. You can start to play the what if game, which has an association of doom and gloom, but we can play it in a curious manner. What if? What if this thing that I believe my entire life is not true? What would happen? What are the other possibilities? And start playing around with that. So what if this belief is not true? What if it's no longer valid? What if I don't have to believe it? And use your creative mind, invoke your imagination, because your imagination really is the how-to of the future. So invoke that and come up on your own with, oh, well, if this isn't true, what if this, and this was true? So come up with 3 more possibilities. And after that, come up with 3 more, and allow your mind to start to wander. Allow yourself to imagine again, which rolls into number 3. Invoke your imagination. So participate in activities that bring out that innocent, childlike feeling in you, that joyful energy, that essence of play without an agenda. I'm not looking for an outcome. I'm not looking to go anywhere or to do anything or to be anything. I really am immersed in the moment as if I'm a child in the sandbox building a little castle.
I love what you said. Imagination. Did you say it's the way of the future? It's the creative force of the future? Would you repeat that, please?
Imagination is the how-to of the future.
Is the how-to of the future. Also, you were talking about the importance of becoming childlike. The scripture that says you must be childlike to enter. But there's playing in the sandbox, doing what kids do. But there's so many of us still carrying around residual effects, phantom energy, residual energy, cobwebs, dust, rust, and all about. I love the idea of playing, but when I play from my past, it's always got me into trouble. And though as adult spiritualists, well, maybe that's the problem. We don't need to be adult spiritualists anymore. But it's like, aspects of us, when we play, somehow it seems to want to associate with the messy masterpiece in the trunk, in the closet, because some part of us feels like when we do such things, we might get a whipping or we might be in trouble. We might be punished or so.
Well, when we start adulting, let's put that in quotes. When we start adulting, for some reason, I'm not really sure why, we start to associate innocence with ignorance. So we have to understand and acknowledge as well that we've accumulated quite a bit of life experience, so quite a bit of knowledge. We know ourselves now, so we have information that's coming with us that we can combine with that innocence. So we're no longer ignorant. We truly are stepping into innocence, which is really just dropping everything that we think we know. A plus B might not equal C. There is a possibility that there's another outcome there.
Yeah, if we drop the nonsense, what is going to happen? Who knows?
Yes, the what if game. I don't know. Who knows?
The worst that's going to happen is whatever, because you're eternal. It's not going to end. Your life is not going to end. In fact, we're kind of hoping that who we think we are dies. We really want to die. We do. Because, we always use physical death as words to describe the doorway into a divine birth. But I think we're here, and I think we're, as a race, a species, a world, achieving the place where we're wanting to die and not having to lose our meat suit to do it.
Yes. Yes. We are definitely awakening and coming in fully, collectively, to the knowing of that. Absolutely.
What are you seeing happening from your experience, your inner exploration? What do you see? And you can answer this honestly, even if it's gloomy. I don't mind. But knowing you, it's not. What do you see happening for humanity's future?
I see collaboration. I see people sharing information. I see people sharing personal experience. I see people giving and receiving. I see the walls coming down. I see the fences coming down. And for me, that's really not to dance around a doomsday, type scenario. Because quite frankly, I think we're already in it. We're already there.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
I think it's purposeful that as we look out and about and we see what's going on in the world, that we stay judgment free. Just be aware. Open the file, put the information in the file. That way, whatever happens, you can get into your own mainframe, your own computer, and pull out the file you need and know how to respond responsibly with your awareness, your multidimensional awareness, because you kept an open file. And so now you are prepared and better at creating what is needed at any given moment for whatever may happen in the world. Smart girl. Love it.
Yes, exactly. I love it. Well, we come into, at least for me, I came into this whole love and light. Oh, here I have access, this much larger part of myself. And there was this temptation to deny anything that I perceived to not align with that. and I didn't realize that I was cutting off 50% of my power in that mode of operating. So to fully acknowledge and to accept and to see, and acceptance does not mean that you are not going to take action and elevate your contribution in the way that you're feeling moved.
Fantastic. Alexis, we're at the top of the hour, sadly. And heads up, listening audience, I am working with my producer, Joe, to expand Center of Light Radio for our 2-hour show. And that hour that we're going to add is going to be on the front end and not the back end. So whatever hour you used to arriving here, make plans in the very near future. I will always inform you that it's going to be in the front part of the show an hour earlier. Alexis, thank you for being here on Center of Light Radio. Would you leave us with a final thought, dear?
Well, thank you for inviting me in and allowing me to be here. I guess I have to throw out my tagline here, right?
Sure, go for it.
Yes. Well, forever speak your passion and live your truth. Absolutely.
Wow, that was pretty powerful, plain and simple and to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you're welcome back on Center of Light Radio. Keep us posted on what's going on in your life and what you're creating and the mess that you're getting into. Love it. Thank you, Messy Masterpiece, and please come back and join us.
Thank you so much. It was an honor. Peace,
love, and light, everyone. Miss Alexis Petrin here in Center of Light Radio. I have lots of really, really cool guests like as Alexis coming down the pike here in Center of Light Radio. You can bet on that. Remember, when you lay down at night, you have nothing else to do except just fall asleep. Why not do something powerful? You do it anyway, you breathe anyway, but this time I invite you to do something a little different. Breathe consciously, breathe on purpose. And what will begin to happen is you will begin to touch that part of you that is beyond words, beyond language, probably even beyond your own understanding until you come into the realization of that. Next week on Center of Light Radio, my guest is going to be Carmen M. Perez. Adopt a thriving mindset and transform your world. Keith Anthony Blanchard here, Monday nights. Peace, love, and light to you, my brothers and sisters. Thank you very much for filling up the chat room. We are at over 1,000,000.25 listenership. Life is good for me, for you. The world is changing. I will chat with you soon, my friends. Dig it. Good evening.